Okay, what we have right here is a sheet that I handed out to your students. Students, this is what I sent out to you. And on it, you'll see for February, as we do every month, there is a challenge and it's based on a precept. The February precept is it's better to know some of the questions than all of the answers. And James Thurber is credited with that. Oh, and I probably should explain why I have a turkey on my head. It is um, crazy hat day or hair. And when I take off this hat, I'll probably have crazy hair. Perfect. Checking all the boxes. So anyhow, looking at this, I wanted you to see that there are three things that I asked of the students. First is for you to make a new precept. We do this every month. They come up with their own very clever precepts where they find well, I have quote books. They're able to. They sometimes they pull it from the Torah. Sometimes they find it on the internet, what have you. Precepts are quotes that guide us in sometimes difficult situations, kind of keep us focused on what's most important to us, and our precepts should reveal that. So they're to do that, and most have already done that. In addition, they are to ask a deep question for the bulletin board, and I'm saying these are very existential questions that have to do with our existence. Who, what, where, when, why, how questions like who am I? What is my purpose? When will I arrive? Why am I learning what I'm learning? Um, where will my future take me? How am I to find the best version of myself? Those are just some examples that I hope students come up with. And I gave them many of those examples, and I said, if you want to use those. So they'll all be anonymous, and we'll put those on the bulletin board, and that completes the second part. And those are due tomorrow. Now, the third part, this is a little bit more elaborate, and it's going to cover a little bit longer time. As you know, we have elections at Hillel. We do it every year. This year, last year, I'm sorry, in the beginning of the year, Neely won the presidency, and she did so in more of a traditional fashion. She squared off against those opponents that emerged from the primary election, and from that, she earned the nomination for president. However, her term limits have been reached, and so it's a wide open field for the 20 other fifth, sixth, and seventh graders. That being said, our debate this year won't be a debate. We're going to take advantage of our media studio, and we're going to do something that goes along those lines. So my challenge is always something that I don't grade. Um, well, has always been something I don't grade. But this year it's going to be tied to something that I'm going to grade. So I wanted to be clear on this. The challenge is for the students to find questions from their peers, questions that have to do with the election. So, for example, if Rabbi was a fifth grader and I was a sixth grader, I might go up to him and say, Rabbi, what is it that you would expect from a president? This is these types of questions. What questions do you have? I'm sorry, that's what I'm looking for. Now, this might be a difficult thing for the student to convey, especially if Rabbi was in first grade or kindergarten. They might say, I don't have any questions. And so I let the students know they could lead the younger people, give them some ideas, some questions. And the whole goal is to try to survey as many people as possible. So whoever gets the most questions from the students, that person will win the challenge, and with it, there'll be a prize. I'm actually going to give out 3 prizes per grade. The person who has the most will get to draw first, second, draw second, third, draws third of what's left. They'll get what's left. So, and it's things like a homework pass or being able to use my office chair that I never use. So they are to get that many questions. So if there are 64 people in our school, 64 questions between now and it's due on the 6th, that would be great. And all they need to do is write these down on a notepad. indicate the number, the name of the person, and write it so that I can read them. And again, they could be the same questions. Kids could ask, what will you do if you were elected president, for example? Many kids may ask that. Some kids might say, what's your favorite color? And hopefully we can redirect them toward election appropriate questions, but you never know. And but anyhow, that's step one. Now, that's not graded. That's the challenge. But what is graded is that everybody has to get at least 5, and from those 5, they are to make them into a script for our video debate. Now, students have some experience with this in our studio, and we have a reader that the students are able to look at that tells us on a teleprompter what to say. So they are to script this out digitally so we can cut it and paste it onto the teleprompter, and we'll have Neely be the MC say, and so the question she might say, so and so from first grade asked blah blah blah, and then you'd be able to reply, and of course it would already be pre-scripted, and you could read off the teleprompter. So glad you asked that question. My answer is blank. So all 20 students are to do that with the teleprompter, and that we're going to do that on the 7th in place of a debate, and then we'll show it to the school, and hopefully that'll help them to decide who to vote for in the primary election. Remember, it's better to know some of the questions than all the answers. All 3 of these have to do with questions. And my hope is that students will get that from this and value that precept all the more. Thanks for your attention. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to email me.